the entire brake, master cylinder, everything off to take this valve cover off.
So if you gotta check that valve cover, you gotta take out that whole master cylinder out, huh?
Yep. The bolt of the valve cover is inside the cab right now. And that's also the exact pocket of where the steering column comes.
Well, I'm gonna have to go return it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the S10 Hell Swap. Blah. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the S10 Hellcat Swap build. If you're watching this video, that means we are on episode 2. And on this episode, man, we're gonna be taking off that doghouse like we said on our last video. We're gonna be setting in the motor and transmission, mocking everything all up, man. Hopefully, it's a breeze. But before we get to do that, man, there's a few things we gotta do. Now, we got a huge mess in this garage. We got all of this here. We got all that in the back of the truck. Got some stuff back here as well. So we technically have a mess, man, and it's gonna be hard for us to work on this truck with this whole mess we got in here. Speaking of messes, man, check out that table, loaded. So the first thing we're gonna go ahead and do, man, just like TV time, we're gonna clean up this mess so that we can grab the donk, push the donk out, or drive the donk out, and then have Sleepy Joe in this spot. And the only thing I wanna see on this spot is gonna be the Hellcat engine, the transmission, which we have inside our pickup truck, and cherry picker. Now, I can't thank you guys enough, man. I've loved the comments, loved the likes, loved the subscribe. I think we picked up like 25 new subscribers on the last video, episode 1. Hopefully we double that on this episode. But man, I'm excited, just like you guys are excited, and the comments are amazing. So keep them coming, guys. And just like that, TV time, we're all cleaned up. All cleaned up over here. All cleaned up on Sleepy Joe. Nothing behind Sleepy Joe, so we could move it out. Got all this space here. Now we could work. The motor, there's the oil pan. Transmission still in the truck, need help to carry it, but yeah. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the drive shaft, followed by the transmission, and then we're gonna begin to unbolt all this front clip. Now, right before we get started, we normally have moved this truck a lot of times, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure we put it in park. Just so we know as well that when our transmission, we take it out, we put it in another car, we know that it's in park as well. Man, I love that shifter. Very expensive shifter. Made for a power glide. Now I can't use it because we're going with a 3-speed. Safety first, guys, safety first. So we're gonna get our gloves, safety glasses, and we're gonna begin to tear this down. So we got our drive shaft out, one piece down, a couple more to go. Well, we finally got it out. It was a behemoth, back and forth. Guys, make sure your car is jacked up properly at the height it needs to be before you slide this out. But hey, wasn't pretty, but got it out. Got a 350, 4060, power glide with brake. So if anybody's looking for a transmission, let me know. I got plenty. So now all we got left is the exhaust, and then the wire harness, and obviously the doghouse, but we're gonna remove the exhaust now. So here we got the full exhaust taken out. Well, not full exhaust, but all the way to the mufflers. And we're planning to run full exhaust on this truck too. Hopefully we don't have to do any side fender exits on that motor, but we took this out, so creating more space. So exhaust is out, Transmission's out. Everything is looking right under here. Cross members out. So we got a blank canvas right now to work with. We got the terminator out. Everything is taken out. We see how much space, whatever's left on, doesn't affect what we got going on. I'll leave that nitrous on there because we might spray the truck eventually. But yeah, now the goal is to get them out of here and move them over here. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. We got Sleepy Joe on the side we need to have him on, so it makes it easier for us to set it all up. Next step will be to take this dog house. I don't know if I'm gonna take it off fender and bumper and everything piece by piece, radiator support, just for storage wise, because like I said, our space is limited over here, so we'll see what happens. It was a pain in the rear by myself. Took off the whole front end, one piece. Tried to take out the bumper, man, but these bumper brackets here are all jacked up, so I'm gonna have to like do some work on it. But I was able to pull this whole front end out, so it gives us space to work. I don't think the bumper will affect us in any kind of way. But if you guys wanna see what Sleepy Joe is gonna look like with a Hellcat, we got it already right here. So guys, I'm exhausted for one day's work, man. We're gonna continue this tomorrow. So you know they say, don't leave anything for tomorrow that you could do today. So I decided to push a little harder and get rid of that bumper. Couldn't go to sleep thinking about it. Now the bumper's gone. And like that, we could get the cherry picker farther and do a couple things better. So yeah, guys, we're gonna recap this again tomorrow. And just like that, it's day 2 of this Hellcat swap build. We're gonna sit this thing between the frame rails. But today I have a special buddy coming over.
What's up, brother?
Good to see you, man.
Got what we need.
Yep, for sure, man.
What's happening, guys?
Here we got Charles, man. Check out Solo Man Motorsport.
We're gonna go ahead and pop off the factory style motor mounts real quick. Once we get this out of the way, we got a couple things to do with the motor. We're gonna grab the transmission out of your truck. Then we're gonna go ahead and mock it up, bolt it on the back of the motor. Then the fun part, start sitting it down in here and gauging what we need to do. But we have to have these out of the way for the new motor mounts that are gonna be welded in. So first step, out with the old before the new can go in.
Done. What'd you do with the ringer? Just has that oil in it. Whew. And does she look pretty? This is what we wanted to see. When I did one of the videos, man, I noticed that this thing was super heavy, bro. From your experience with lifting heavy stuff and knowing more or less what stuff weighs, man, just get a feeler for what this supercharger weighs, man. I mean, I know that there's things on the internet say 100 pounds, some say 80, some say 106. I need to know what you feel like you think that this weighs.
It's probably about, I don't know, 80 pounds or so.
80 pounds? All right, that's not too bad. Big runners, huh?
Yeah.
Compared to like an LS, like a cathedral port.
Oh yeah, there's not even close to the same.
Wow. We're gonna put this engine leveler on it. Usually I use a chain, but Charles had that engine leveler, which is gonna work for us. We're gonna bolt that on, then bolt the trans, or maybe we're just gonna lift the motor up first, try to change the oil pan, and then we're gonna go from the, damn, what happened to my gloves, man? Oh, that was the fire. Safety first, look at this.
Yep.
Wild. Hellcat swap. Sleepy Joe. All right, guys, here we got my buddy Steve, man. He came over. He wanted to see what was going on with the Hellcat. Also wanted to see what we had going on with this donk, man. What are you thinking of this donk?
I like it.
Yeah, it's super cool, bro.
Make some fiberglass fenders, make some fiberglass front end.
Damn.
Fiberglass hood.
We'll be killing the game with that.
Then you be set.
For sure.
Take about 600 or 700 pounds off of it.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Because right now, I mean, even the bumpers, if I got the bumpers on the trailer, those bumper weigh. When you weigh one of those bumpers, I think they weigh like 300 pounds. That's how heavy they are.
My bumper on the LTD
Yeah.
is 77 pounds. The new one's 13.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, no, definitely I gotta make bumpers for it. The bumpers here would be like crucial because they're heavy. It'll probably add like at least 300 pounds. We'll weigh one out there, dude, but it's heavy. I couldn't even carry it between me and my wife. We tried to put it in here, didn't happen. Well, guys, real quick, me and Steve have a little history. The problem is that a lot of these videos, you guys haven't seen them anymore, but Steve was actually the first guy I raced. Well, we raced at Immokalee. You know, my damn harmonic balancer came loose right at the finish line. Sparks were going on. Steve slowed down and everything because he said, you know what?
He was trying to kill me. Okay, he's throwing shit at me. Harmonic balancer comes flying over at my truck. And then he's laughing at the end. I beat you. Yeah, you did.
So right after that,
Weight reduction during the race.
Right after that, we wanted to race again, and it didn't happen. Sleepy Joe has been broken ever since. But now he came over, and I'm letting him know, well, I think I'm ready to race now once I drop this Hellcat in. But Steve, tell me what you want for this race.
So let's do, well, my original race was, we line up, I leave when I want to, no lights, okay? You gotta hold the key to your truck outside the window, and then you gotta start it and catch me. Now I'm running a 3.5 V6. You should be able to catch me. In a 4-door truck, look at this. It's a race truck with a Hellcat motor. So, that's first race. And you already said you don't think you can beat me.
No, I don't think so, man. I'll be smoking the tires by the time you'll already be at the finish line.
So second race is you got to have the truck shut off, but you can have the key in. You got to have the truck shut off. Same race.
Well, that might work. Maybe a little bit.
Another.
A little bit.
You know, second.
I gotta run low fives to get you then at that point.
No, in my truck.
Oh, in the truck.
The truck.
Well, the truck still. I gotta still run a low five because you'll be already a second and a half in front of me for sure.
Probably.
Guys, Steve has the quote unquote fastest F-150 4-door with a stock turbo. Our video, if you guys check it out, we have a video on our website where we show Steve's truck. We interviewed him and stuff like that. He's ready to line up with any crew cab, 4-door, F-150, stock turbo, right?
Yep.
There you go. He says he hasn't seen anyone faster on the street, so let's see what happens.
Any of the websites that I'm on, there's a guy that I just talked to a couple weeks ago that's got a limited, which has the 3.5 HO, but he has stock turbos. He's pretty much got exactly the same stuff I got, and he's less than 1/10 of a second slower than I am. I'd love to race that truck.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Well, Sleepy Joe already got its first official race at Immokalee Raceway, so y'all check it out. Charles, talk to me, and what's the next step over here? We got your engine hoist on there, engine leveler.
Yeah, we just put the leveler on all 4 corners. It's nice because you can actually rotate it and tilt it, get the angle you need to stab them in. This, it's not as critical because Victor, you already did a bunch of hard work getting the front end ready for us. So we're gonna go ahead and load this up on the engine hoist. Probably just do a quick set down of the motor in the truck, pull it back, set the transmission on, and go with it again that way. That way we can at least start eyeballing and seeing the next step of the next plan where we're gonna start mocking up motor mounts, look at the engine angle, then start looking at cross member for transmission.
Nice. Man, guys, we're getting after it. We're gonna have this in between the frame rails somehow, some way. Wood, a mount, anything, a stick. We're gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna show you guys that we mean business when we say we're Hellcat swapping the first S10 in the world.
Now we're looking at obviously the oil cooler setup. We're gonna see if we do have to retain the factory one by the time we change the oil pan, because It is going to be set up for a rear sump pan. Right now it's sitting on the jack plate, so the motor still will go about 1.5 inches or so lower, which also puts the oil cooler into the frame. The option is notching this and boxing it all back in, which is pretty common on S10s. Everybody does LS swaps. When they retain air conditioning, they do the same thing for the compressor. Also, another thing too is firewalls on S10s are offset to give the driver more leg room. So we might end up having to notch a small section of the firewall right here just for clearance. Not changing the firewall, not moving anything backwards. Just these Hemi heads are so big, kind of like a Coyote motor. So we might have to make a little clearance. And remember, this is all just sitting here dangling. It's not in its actual location. We're just looking at motor mount options. If you look here, we can flip them and build them the way we want them. Depends on how far we go down. So this, when we go to the other mount, they're offset. So you can either have them up higher and come in, tie up in here more, or this one, because it's offset front, will now be like this one, because it's offset. Now it ties the motor mount farther down on the cross member here, which is probably going to be our option because it gives us more clearance for steering.
We got the new oil pan in, man. Check that out. Rear sump. Thank goodness for Holly.
You're already passed.
Okay, so let's start setting it down some.
We got an issue. We got to cut some of this firewall out. Well, not codify, just give it a little angle, maybe 45. We had some steering. The column was hitting right where the valve cover is at. So we dropped the steering column in, pushed it in the car, and now we're massaging this firewall. So that's what we're looking at, guys. We had to cut some stuff out. Just massaging, still factory firewall. We're not cutting out the whole firewall, we're just gonna do a little modification.
Yeah, and that piece will be welded back in anyway.
Oh yeah.
Can't believe you're filming me jacking off.
All right, guys, so there's the damage. You're gonna be seeing my feet while I'm driving. But yeah, you want a Hellcat swap your S10? You better be ready for some carnage.
The entire brake, master cylinder, everything off to take this valve cover off.
So if you gotta check that valve cover, you gotta take out that whole master cylinder out, huh?
Yep.
You know?
The bolt of the valve cover is inside the cab right now. That's
We're sitting
also
pretty-
the exact pocket of where the steering column comes.
I'm gonna have to go return it. So final step, it's gonna be, we're gonna bolt it on the transmission to it. We're gonna sit it in here. And then probably on the next episode, man, we're gonna be showing you guys how we fab some mounts and harness and all that good stuff. So guys, guess what, man? What do we got here, Charles?
It's physically sitting in the truck. Steve came over, was wanting to check it out, gave us a hand to get things going, and it's
there, it's not
in
Photoshop,
there.
right?
There is no Photoshop, there is nothing. It is on a truck.
There you go,
Transmissions on it.
man. For anybody
Granted,
thinking,
it's sitting on the frame on some metal mounts right now. Nothing's permanent, but it's in place.
look. So real quick, guys, now that the smoke and dust have settled, what do we got? The Hellcat motor is in, transmission's in with it. We're gonna have to fab up. We got some mounts here, but we're gonna have to adjust them a little bit. But before we get to any of that, we're gonna have to find ourselves some manifolds. Got to get an alternator, starter, and potentially get some different valve covers, the flat ones for it. But for the most part, man, we're one step closer to having this truck completely Hellcat swapped. So there we have it, guys. The motor is in, transmission's in, and on episode 3, we're gonna make sure we allocate all the parts that are necessary to weld these mounts in and make that transmission cross member permanent. So we need, again, starter, alternator, and some manifolds that would work with this setup. I'm really not trying to go with fender exits and so forth, but I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. But all we know is that, yeah, it's happening. So, man, thank you for watching. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment, man, on this video. Everybody watching, if you're watching, man, we got good stuff coming on this channel. So not only live streams and event coverages, but we got all these toys in the garage, man, that we're gonna, you know, cool builds out of. So yeah, man, I appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Like, comment, subscribe. Always love God, love family, and love racing. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.